really interesting week for me. I got caught up in some tangents. John Fahey was one of them, and it made me, well, there's sort of a long story to this. First of all, it's Friday the 22nd of January, and as you know, I've been working on some songs, some slide songs, some Moloka'i type things, and got kind of caught up in open G stuff with a couple of students. And then one of them who's worked on The Sailor's Grave on the Prairie, Silent Night, got him started with Amazing Grace, which is like a really kind of just beginning one, right? But then he said, hey, what else do you have in there? And I thought, well, the other stuff I have played is on the lap steel, my Kona guitar that is over 100 years old now. It's got a birth date in there. It says April 19th or 17th. 1920, though. These were made, I've shown you guys this before, but I know it's been a while because I really have not done much with this in a long time. But today I put new strings on it and on two other guitars. So everything you're going to hear today is going to be like strings that have been only on the guitar for like an hour, and I haven't been playing all morning. I had to run a whole bunch of errands after I got the strings on. So, but it's led me to that song. That's kind of a little scratch or rough version of John Fahey's Steamboat Gwine Round the Bend from his album of Rivers and Religion. And that was the song that occurred to me that I could work on with Tim a little while ago, doing it bottleneck style. The problem with the bottleneck on that is Fahey does there's a lot of spots where he goes to a chord where he's playing, right now I'm playing the third and fifth strings. Lose the numbers looking at this upside down. Then I need the first string open. That's really, I'm going to have to say, impossible on a bottleneck to get good tone out of the third and fifth strings at the fourth fret and have the first string open. Slipping out of tune already. And even here, I've just got the bar across 5 strings, and the first string is open. And the same thing, I'm at the 5th fret for a C chord. Anyway, so coming up, I'm going to start with something that probably next week. I'm working on getting a lesson together on that song, and you could do this on a normal guitar, just sit it on your lap. It doesn't have to be this Hawaiian, this lap steel that has, the strings this far off the neck. Boy, what a sound though, huh? Fahey song. I don't know what it is. I'll have to do some research and figure out where that one is. That's another one I remember from when I first saw him in the early 70s, and saw him with a guitar like this. And then I got this guitar. I've told you this story before probably, but it was up in a little corner of a music store that I'd been teaching at, and they were closing, going out of business. They wrote me a check that bounced, and one day, like a couple weeks later, I went by there and the owner was in there, and I had the bad check in my pocket. And so I went in and said, hey John, something happened with this check. He says, oh yeah, sorry, we had to close the accounts and blah blah blah. And it was a whopping $60. That was a fortune to me. I was like 18 probably at the time. And so anyway, he gave me $60 cash, and that was good. So all settled. And then he was taking this down from like the rafters. And so having seen Fahey with one of these things, I said, hey, what's the story on that guitar? It had a $200 price tag on it. And he said, you want it for $100? Luckily I had $40 more. And now I was poor. But I had like one of the coolest guitars I had ever seen. So these were made in Los Angeles in the early, in the 20s. This one is called a Kona, so it's very similar to Weissenborn. Now Weissenborn was like another brand sort of, and people are still making those things. This one, again, the body, you can't even play it like this. I mean, you can see the neck joins the body at the 7th fret. And anyhow, this was an early run, or this was kind of a prototype. Eventually these things got names, style 1, 2, 3, and 4. But this one predates all of those. I've sent this off. I've sent pictures of it off to Kona experts. It even has Hawaii misspelled, Hawaiian guitar misspelled on the label. I should put pictures of this up. Maybe I'll get to that. Okay, that's. I didn't mean to ramble on that much about this guitar, but I'm excited about getting it back. I had it for a long time. I had a student that was working on stuff in a different tuning, in a C6 tuning. So I had these really thin, wimpy strings on there. Well, she's subsequently gone back into playing electric, classical guitar. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to restring my Kona back to the open G that I had it in from my Fahey influence. And so that's it. I finally got it back, tuned up this morning. Found some strings that were thick enough to make it work. And you may see a lesson soon on Steamboat Going Round the Bend. So listen to it. Check it out. There's a few... I'll put some links in here of Fahey playing this. So, okay. That's all I want to talk about with this guitar, I think. Now, this guitar also has new strings on it. And so it's probably going to, like... Let me get my footstool back here where I need it. Ah, come on. Okay. One of the songs that really drew me to John Fahey, The Last Steam Engine Train. The other one, by the way, was a song of mine called Shadows of Moloka'i. Okay, but what I really want to talk about was a couple of things that happened on... Oh yeah, two kind of important things. Let me go over last week's lessons first, since I kind of already led into those. But that's going to lead me to play this. I know I've been promising Jorma Kaukonen tune, and what else? Masquerade solo version, and this took cuts. Anyway, that sometimes happens. You know, I always have like 4 or 5 projects on different burners, and then something comes along and moves them all off to the side. So I still will get to what else I've been working on, which I've been telling you about for a few weeks. It just hasn't happened because because that got in the way, and this got in the way. But also we had a really cool tune. I don't know if you saw it, Pfrancing, sorry, of that Max did on the Miles Davis tune, and Vanessa did our 50s bop tune, The Young Ones. So that was last week's cool stuff. This week, I'm just going to jump right ahead. Oh, the other thing that was kind of cool, I really appreciate Joe putting up his work in progress of Bitter Creek, a complicated song. So if you haven't looked at the review, but I'm sure most of you who have seen what he put up could relate to what he really needs to work on in there to just get it a little bit more, just a little more regular strumming pattern, right? So anyway. So that was cool. I hope we get some more of that kind of stuff happening. And speaking of which, Jose, his screen name there was Sixth Gray Jose. So I'm going to sometimes call him Jose, which I'm sure he goes by sometimes. But and the other COA members we are getting the COA Pathways program started, and we're starting with a webinar tomorrow where everybody who's part of the COA program will be getting together online through Zoom, and we'll be talking about. So it's kind of a plan to give you some like a monthly plan of here. This month we're working on this, next month we're working on that, and in a year, let's see if you're ready to go buy a Hawaiian lap steel and work on John Fahey tunes. So anyway, COA members, keep an eye out for the link that will be in the forum by the time you see this, I'm sure. And plan on seeing everybody. We are also trying to get the webinars back together for everybody else. So I hope in the next week or two I'll have info on another webinar for everybody. Kind of like the old TG Live, except it'll be a little bit more interactive. So that's on the agenda soon too. Let's see. Did I have something else to talk about? No, that was it. Want to put that little plug in for there, and then. Next week, Bob McAlpine is bringing us another lesson, and if I hope you've been following some of the stuff that Bob has been doing, because it's really cool. And what we have coming out next of his is a Phil Collins tune arranged for solo guitar. So just a little teaser, but that should be live next week. He swears he's finishing it up today. So Vanessa's working on an Everly Brothers tune, and I am still working on the songs that got delayed because of Rainbow Connection. So we'll see how that goes. Man, I may get just sidetracked all day today though too, playing stuff. Wait a minute, I'm losing it. Oh good, I'm running out of time too. I see my video is saying you're down to like just a couple minutes. So I'm gonna have to cut this off and just play by myself now. So if we run out of video while I'm talking, let me do my sign-offs now, and we'll see what happens when the chip says I'm out of memory. That's it. I'll see you next week.